Greetings and welcome to part 5 of the Trumpet series. This is for the green belts for band karate. So this is going to take place in pages 14 through 17. There's a lot of information on here, so often it'll take kids a while to get through this. So we're going to get right into it. Number 59 on page 14 in your book, right above it, it has the new thing called a tie. It is a curved line connecting two notes of the same pitch, the same note. Alright, so basically what you're going to do is, instead of playing two notes, bum, bum, you're going to combine them together to make one long note. Ba. That's all. So number 59, it starts off with a half note G, and then it has two quarter note Fs, but they're tied together. So you're not going to play this, because they're tied. You want to tie and you want to make it one long note. Okay, so we're going to do that for all the ones that are tied in here. The second half, the first two are tied, and then the second two are not. So be careful knowing which ones are tied. Half rushed. Number 60, you tie a half note, which is 2 beats, to a quarter note, which is 1. So you're going to hold that first F for 3 beats. '61 is the exact same song as number 60, except in number 61, instead of using a tie, you're using what's in that orange box between those two exercises, a dotted half note. A half note with a dot is held for 3 beats, just like a half note tied to a quarter note. So 61 with that dotted half note. '62 is the first green belt song, Camptown Races. What I'm especially looking for, if you're testing on this, is that you have those eighth notes short enough. Okay, we don't want to play everything da 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 da. We want to make sure the lengths are there as well. The length of the note is just as important as the pitch itself, the note itself. Okay, looking page 15 now. At the top, it talks about the 3/4 time signature. Remember, we had 4/4, which meant 4 beats in a measure. We had 2/4, 2 beats in a measure. 3/4 means 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Every box has 3 beats. Look at 67 with me. I also like 68, also in 3/4 with a tie that goes across the measures at the end on that last E. You might have noticed that I was mezzo forte, as it said in the beginning, then I had a crescendo louder, and then a decrescendo softer. Again, those artistry things that are fantastic to do when you're able to. Look at 69, Morning from Peer Gynt. It starts off with a P, piano, which is soft. It has a crescendo, get louder, up to mezzo forte, medium loud, and then a decrescendo, get softer to piano soft. Next is an accent. I find find this a little tricky for young players, so I tend to ignore it for a little bit. But an accent means you give it a little punch, a little emphasis on that note. So looking at 71, the Mexican clapping song. Notice when you see that little arrow thing over the note, that just means you give it a little more punch. I hesitate to say louder, but it's kind of louder, just a little more weight, a little bigger tone. Looking at page 16, at the very top it talks about a flat. A flat lowers the sound of a note by a half step. You don't need to know that so much as it's a different note. If you see a note with nothing on it, that is called a natural note, okay? If you see a flat on it, that little B, that means it's a different note, okay? The first note, look at number 73 on page 16. Hot muffins, hot cross buns starting on D. It has a low B flat first valve. You've learned B, middle valve. Different note. Okay, 73 will sound like this. Now, in the fifth measure, you notice that there are 4 B flats. I played the first valve for all of them, but only the first one has a flat sign. The reason for that is that whenever you put a flat sign or any kind of extra sign on a note in a measure, all the ones that come after that in that box, in that measure, are going to continue to have it. That's why all of them are B flats, because the first one's B flat. If they wanted the other ones to be middle finger natural, they'd have to tell you that with a different symbol. Look at 75. This is high B flat. Notice it's on the third line. Every good boy deserves fudge. Okay, so that's a high B flat, and it's also first valve. Is the note. So here's basic blues 75. Fun one. Which brings us to 76 and 78. These two are your other two greenbelt songs. There are a lot of concepts that go into these greenbelt songs. So the first thing you need to know is in the middle of page 16 in the orange box. The first thing is key signature. It says the key signature tells us which notes to play with sharps or flats throughout the music. So notice that in the key signature in the orange box, there is a B, that little flat sign, on the third line. That's the B, right? Every good boy. That means that any B, low B, high B, are going to be called B flat, and you're going to play with the first valve. If there was no flat sign there, you play B natural, middle finger. So that's what we're going to do in 76. You're going to use a B flat, because in 76 you have that little B. Okay? Also in that orange box, it talks about first and second endings. This is really tricky. It says play through the first ending. Then play the repeated section of music, skipping the first ending, playing the second ending. Okay. Start from the beginning of the song. Look at 76. Beginning of the song. You go beginning to the repeat sign. Back to the beginning. You with me so far? Beginning to repeat sign, back to the beginning. Then the second time, this time when you're playing it, the second time, you go beginning to the very end of the song and you skip the part that has the bracket 1 under it. Okay, so I'm going to sing it so you can see what it's going to be like. So it's going to be C, F, G, A, B flat, D, D, G. D, C, E, F, G, A, G, G, F, D, C, C. Then you're at the repeat sign, you go back to the beginning. C, F, G, A, B flat, D, D, G, D, C, E, F, G, A, G. Now you skip over to the second ending, F. Okay, let me play it now. is your second green belt song, High Flying. The next green belt song, the last one, is 78, Up on a Housetop. Also has first and second ending, same thing. Beginning to repeat sign, beginning to end, but skip the part that's under the bracketed one. Repeat. That's green. There's one more new concept on these pages. Just go over here, and that is number 80, the high C. So you've learned low C, which is open. Then you learn G, which is open. The next open note is high C. That's your space bass, F-A-C. So look at 80. In the key signature, you have a B flat, first 12. Let's also look at 84, because this has the key signature with a B flat in it, right? They have that little flat sign on the line at the beginning there, and you start off with a low B flat. It has to be B flat because it's there. One more I tend to give kids, just because I really like it, is number 83, Down by the Station. So that is green belt. This is a hard one. Take your time. Enjoy.